So in this video I'm going over my room again. I'm going to kind of give a tour, and I'm going to kind of go over what I have in the room again, and also discuss the new things that I've added to the room since the last time I filmed a little tour video. And I'm going to actually answer the most frequently asked questions that I've gotten from the comments, just to kind of get all that information out in a more accessible way, so you just don't have to dig through comments to find the answers. I'm just going to put it out there. Throughout the video I'm going to kind of link up at the top there and show where I've made another video that applies to the thing that I'm looking at the time. So at the end of the video I'm also going to include a short demo with different scenes so you can see the power of the theater. I also have some other demo videos available on my channel if you want to check them out. So this is a 2021 update of my home theater room. I've done some things since the last time I posted a video on the room itself. I've had some videos in this room, but I haven't pointed out the newest stuff that has gone in here. So this gives you a good scale of the room. It's pretty good size, I would say. Some may say that this front row is a little close, but if you sit in it, it's fine. You can kind of make up individual pixels on the screen a little bit if you squint, but it's not as bad as you would think. Again, I should also mention that this front row is more for like when we have more people. The rear row, is the main row. I should definitely point that out. These are my Definitive Technology BP8080ST Super Towers. So one thing to note about these 8080STs is they have drivers in the front and in the back. And the funny thing is that they're firing in phase. So these are true bipolar speakers. So here's a really good view. I actually have not undone these, taken the socks off of these speakers since I bought them. So this is a real treat. They've been undisturbed for 7+ years. They have two 5¼ inch mid-bass drivers, 1-inch dome tweeter. I'll show you the back, but it has another 5¼ and another dome tweeter in the back. These speakers are fantastic. They have a very solid, this might be some kind of composite material, I'm not sure, but it's very dense, very inert. These speakers are mind-blowing. These are definitely the best speakers I've ever owned, by far, the most powerful speakers, and I can't recommend them enough. You know, a lot of people buy like home theater systems in a box or something, and you want a serious upgrade. You could probably get a set of these like discounted right now, secondhand, and probably get a good deal if you wait, maybe buy it on eBay or something. Tons of people probably trying to unload these or trying to like get rid of like these big massive speakers, but there's no replacement for size. I'm probably going to do a full review on these and kind of make my case for why these are still relevant in 2020 or 2021, I should say, and how probably be a very good value right now on the second-hand market. This is the back of the 80STs, the best view of the drivers that I can give you. I don't want to move the speakers out because I have them positioned just right for my listening position. As you can see, there's just 5¼ inch, the same 5¼ and another dome tweeter. They're in phase and they play at a lower dB. I can't remember the exact, I think it's about 5 dB less, but I could be wrong. So this is the 12-inch sub built into the 8080STs. For most people this would be more than enough bass. So this kind of gives you a sense of the scale. It's hard to kind of show how big these speakers are from a video, but I'm 6'2", and you can see this reaches about, I don't know, 12 inches from my shoulder. As you can see, they're really big and they would fill any sized room. Center channel is a Definitive Technology CS9080, which is it's a 3-way design, has a 2 mid-bass drivers, a tweeter, and a subwoofer with a passive radiator. So these are my front height speakers. They're Definitive Technology Studio 55s. Here's a really good view of the Studio Monitor 55s. They have 6.5-inch drivers and a 1-inch dome tweeter. You can't really see it, but there's a passive radiator. It's a racetrack style, I think. I think that's what they're called. And these are great little speakers. These would probably be very good mains, like left and right mains. If you want to not go the tower route, these would do a really good job. You pair it with a decent center channel, and they extend pretty low. So these are the PB3000s. Absolutely love these things. These things are, the 8080 STs are fantastic, and for the longest time I thought I was good and I didn't need standalone subwoofers, but these have proven that I was not entirely, I wouldn't say I was wrong, but it kind of showed me what I've been missing out on some really solid subs. These are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, if you're coming from a home theater in a box, or 10-inch subs or something like that, these will perform and blow most people. I mean, for the longest time I thought they were just I didn't think I had a need for standalone subs. These have been great. Love them very much. Love them so much that I bought a pair of SB2000s during Black Friday, which I've reviewed on this channel. I'll put a link up that. I've also discussed these subs extensively on this channel, so I'll link a bunch of those videos up there too, so you can see them if you want. So this system is a 7.2.4 system technically, even though the two towers are producing bass. They're connected. Well, I have a splitter for my LFE cable. The signal's going to the subs in the towers and to the PB3000s. So some people would say that this is a 7.4.4. It only has 2 sub outs out of the receiver, so I'm going to just call this system a 7.2.4 and just leave it at that, even though there are 4 speakers that are producing bass, just to reduce confusion out there. My surrounds are bipolar, and they are also definitive technology. They are the SR8080 BPs. And this is one of my definitive technology SR8080 BP surround bipolar speakers. You kind of get a good look at their driver there. So it's just a 4-inch little mid-range tweeter, and there's the same on the other side, except I think they're flipped. Surround backs, I have Definitive Technology Pro Monitor 1000s. These are my Pro Monitor 1000 speakers. I would like to classify these as like kind of like a satellite speaker. They're technically bookshelves, but I would call them like on the larger end of satellite speakers. They have 5.25-inch drivers and 1-inch dome tweeters, 5.25-inch passive radiator. So they play pretty low for being satellites, but for the most part, they are just kind of relegated them to like surround speaker or back surrounds, because I bought these after most of the speakers that I purchased here, and I just wanted to keep the same brand and the same kind of look and voice match them as well as I could. So these are doing the job well. The back surrounds, probably the speakers that are utilized the least in most surround tracks, are 5.1, so they don't even have back surround information. So they need to be matrixed in by the receiver itself using, now Dolby Surround does that now. There's actually ProLogix and all that from the past that matrix the back surrounds in. You need a 7.1 soundtrack to have discrete back surround information going to your speakers, or else it's just matrixed in. But these, like Dolby ATMOS, Dolby Surround, when they do a pretty good job. Now, honestly, I've been watching some movies that are 5.1 and matrix to 5.1 master audio, and they're matrix to to utilize all the speakers, all 11 speakers in the room, and I'm thoroughly convinced. I keep hearing like effects coming from the ceiling and from behind me, and honestly, they've really come a long way with this technology. That, yeah, it's great having a Dolby ATMOS track, but if you have a really good receiver, you're still gonna have enough going on around as far as your system taking advantage of all the speakers in your room. As long as you have a solid receiver. I have an Onkyo, I think RZ830, and I've noticed that that one is not as good as far as, it might be the room, and then this one is, it's just it's a smaller room, and there's acoustic paneling and everything, and I can hear everything better. But that, I've noticed that that one is just not as convincing. This receiver, which I mean, kind of makes sense, it's the flagship, the Pioneer Elite flagship receiver. It just works really well. Doesn't matter what I throw at it, 5.1, 7.1, Atmos, DTSX, it just works great. And I get a really good experience from all of my speakers. These are my Atmos heights, my rear heights, or I guess middle in this room, even though it's the back of the room, but they're right above this row of seats. They are the Infinity CS60Rs. So moving on to the receiver, I have another video posted which I'll link. I have an overview on this whole receiver. It kind of goes over everything. It's a Pioneer Elite SC LX901. It's 11 channels, can do Atmos 7.2.4, which is the configuration that this room is set up in. I also have a review on this. It's a Panasonic DP UB420. That's like my newest component. I guess I didn't mention my home. I have a Xbox 360 Slim, PS3 Slim, Xbox One S, and a Wii U. If you're interested, I also have a power conditioner, HDP 1000 Monster Power. So I have a home theater PCs down there, which is based on a Fractal Design Node 804. It's running a i7-4790K and a GTX 1070. So the screen is an Elite Screens ER120WH1. It's a 1.1 gain screen. It's a white screen. 120 inches, of course, if you couldn't tell that from the model number. I just wanted to kind of give a sense of scale. My arm span is about 6 feet. So, through the lens, through the camera, you might think that this screen doesn't look very big, but it's pretty big. It's 120 inch diagonally, or about 10 inches wide. The projector is an Epson 5030UB. This is my 5030UB, Epson 5030UB. It's a 3LCD projector. Max native resolution is 1080p. Has lens shift, both vertical and horizontal lens shift. It's been giving me nothing but great service for the last almost 7 years. I've been very happy with it. No issues whatsoever. Still on the original bulb. It has a little over 2,000 hours. So these are the newest panels that I installed, which displace some of these smaller panels, which I actually moved throughout the room, which I'll point out later. Talk about a pain in the butt to install. It took 2 guys 3 different days to come to figure out how to put them in. They're very tight to the ceiling and to the wall, but they're actually hanging. So this is the mechanism I use to attach these big bass traps to the corners of the ceiling and the wall there. And as you can see, there's the eye clip and the cable that's running to a board that is attached to the back of the panel. And these eye clips are going straight into the studs, so it's very secure. There's one more thing I wanted to mention about these panels up here before I forget. So I obviously ordered these panels first, and when I went and ordered these, I got the same color, same material, used the same company, and they turned out to be slightly different. They're close enough, and if you look at them from an angle, it almost matches the ones on the bottom, so I really tried my best to get them matched. These are the clips that I used to attach the vast majority of the panels to the wall. So just so you know how a Z-clip works, and they're very simple. One goes into the drywall here, and the other one goes into the panel itself, and then you just hang it like that, and then it stays. Each panel takes about 3 to 4 of these things, and that works just fine. I haven't heard any rattling, and I have plenty of bass in here, and they seem fine. They're not affecting any of my bass response or anything. So that kind of explains how that works. When we installed these panels up here, some of these smaller panels like this one were displaced. So a couple of them went below the center channel, which I just showed, and a couple more. I added 2 more back here. There was only 1 in the past. I think they were on this wall. Yeah, they were originally on this wall, and I added 1 there and 1 here next to Wonder Woman. Still got my ceiling panels. Got 4 by 2s up there. They're 2 inches thick as well. Most of the panels in this room are 2 inches thick. I guess the most effective thing that I've done in this room so far is I added an extra riser, which I got from 4seating.com. I don't think I've gotten anything that's been so effective in like giving me and like enhancing my home theater experience. One of the newest things that I did in this theater has to do with the riser. When we first moved into this house, we had this installed when we were setting up the room, and I at the time thought it would be enough. So this is about 8 inches high, a little under 8 inches. It's fine for the most part since I'm pretty tall, but I couldn't, when I was watching content that would fill the entire screen, like 16 by 9 content and not CinemaScope or something, you couldn't really recline that much in the back row because it would affect, the front seats would obscure the screen a little bit. So one of the things that I did, and which has made an incredible impact to my home theater, one of the most awesome upgrades that I've done, is just adding the second riser to the back row, which has made it's taken it to the next level, especially for my wife. She really enjoys the extra seating height. If I sit down, it's gonna be hard to simulate. It's like before, so this is kind of how it was. See how like the screen is kind of cut off a bit? So you kind of had to scoot up a bit to kind of get a good view of the screen. But now, it's almost like, so this is now more like head height. This is how it is. It's like the camera's right in front of my head and I can see the screen perfectly. This has been the best thing. I basically did this because my wife, she's a bit shorter than I am. I'm approaching 6'2", so this was less of an issue for me. But now it's even for me, this has been a dramatic. It's like legit. Now that I've added another basically almost 8 inches to the height of the back row, this is like legit stadium seating. This is kind of like the vantage point that you're getting from my sweet spot seat. The reason why, so I'm going to point this out. The reason why typically this one riser here, that's about 7.5, almost 8 inches off the ground. In most theaters, that should be enough. The reason why it's not good enough is because of this. There's like ductwork here. So so if the screen had to kind of, this is like it went as high as it could. Had that not been there, the screen would have been higher, and the riser that we had previously, or that we still have, would have been enough. Now this fixes the problem, and believe it or not, it was a lot more inexpensive than you would think. So highly recommended if you want to get a second row. This is not sponsored by 4seating.com. I paid for it on my own, did my own research, and decided that I wanted to go forward with adding this to the theater. So I guess the number one most asked question is how big the room is. And so this is kind of an oddly shaped room. So it's about 13 to 14 feet deep and about 17 feet wide for the most part, but there are some areas where the room can extend up to 20 feet by the doors, and the ceiling's about 9 feet tall. So what was this room intended to be before it was a theater? So I guess technically this room was meant to be a den. It's a windowless room in the basement of our home, and it was really, when we moved in, I thought, wow, this is like the perfect room for a home theater, so it kind of worked out perfectly. Where did I buy my seats? I bought the seats at theaterseatsstore.com. So what's the distance between the screen and the projector up there? Looking at about 12 feet from the lens to the screen. Are bipolar speakers okay for Atmos? There's sometimes a little bit of confusion about that. Yes, they are okay, and I missaid that in my last video, saying that they weren't ideal. I was I was referring to, I got it wrong, to dipole speakers. Dipole speakers don't work well because there's two separate arrays of speakers, right? And one shoots in phase and the other set of drivers shoots out of phase. So with bipolar speakers, they're in phase. So the information's going out at the same time. Like my surround sound speakers, they're just at an angle, but both of their sets of drivers are in phase, so there's no problem. So yeah, just to clear it up, dipole speakers not ideal for Atmos. Bipolar speakers are okay, and obviously monopole speakers are fine too. Did I notice any difference after installing all the acoustic paneling, which is everywhere now? Yes, I did notice a difference. For one, when I speak in here, it's like a great room to record in. There's no echo whatsoever. I mean, there's still an echo. If you do the hand clap test, you can still hear a little bit of an echo. So there is echo. This room isn't completely dead as many people may think because of all these panels. There's still lots of surfaces where sound can bounce off of. I just reduced the amount. And so what as far as benefits, as far as home theater, I would say that everything seems more directional. The information coming from the speakers, I kind of immediately know where it's coming from. There's no ambiguity from what direction the sounds are coming from. I know exactly where they're coming from. Long story short, everything seems more directional. It's something that I've asked several people that have come in here, because people that have been in here before and after, and they say, yeah, it's certainly better. I hope you enjoyed the demo. Please stay tuned.
You must protect the planet. If the Decepticons find it, then our people are truly finished. Now go.
This time, come on.
thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. And please feel free to comment. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to do my best to answer. And also, please like and subscribe. And see you in the next one.